Driven people become more driven when they have adversity. They become more driven when they have success. They want more. They know exactly where they want to go, exactly how they're going to get there, exactly who they want to go on that journey with. Other driven people. They know what they need to do each and every day to achieve what they want to achieve. We built a room full of driven guys. That's why you're here.
It's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones alongside the Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star in Frisco. It is a new season. The New York Football Giants at AT&T Stadium, a 3:25 kickoff on Sunday, and it just feels right playing the Giants in the season opener. In fact, 6 of the last 7 years, the home opener has been against the Giants.
Yeah, we see these guys a lot in the early part of the year, and it's a great rivalry. It goes back a long way, well before you or I were around, and it's one that we've really enjoyed, and great respect for their organization, for their football team. Excited to get going.
Of course, the 100th year of the NFL, 60th year for Dallas Cowboys football. Let's go back to the start of this work week. Of course, EZEKIEL Elliott back in the fold. It was great to see him back out on the practice field back on Wednesday.
Yeah, you know, Zeke has just been a big part of our team the last 3 years, and he's been a very impactful player, but it's been more than that. He's been a great teammate. He's so well respected by his teammates, by the coaches, staff members around here, and it's just fun to get him back out on the practice field. He had a good week for us.
And with temperatures up over 90 degrees, you could find out real quick what kind of shape he was in, right?
Yeah, you know, it's been different for us, all of us. You know, we've been out in California working outside. Obviously, the temperature out there is really comfortable. And then since we've been back, we've been working inside. So on Monday, we went out and had a morning practice outside. I think the players felt it a little bit, but certainly Wednesday was a little steamier, really for everybody.
You know, and for Zeke, obviously his production on the field has been immense, but what is it, his impact in that locker room, him back in the fold here?
You know, Zeke loves to play football. He has a great spirit. He's a competitor. He's physical. He's tough. He loves everything about it. And when you have a guy like that who's one of your best players, a guy who's carried a big burden since he's been with you, and he has all those intangible qualities that the great players have, it's just contagious throughout your team.
You know, you look at one of the great stories coming into this season, it has to be your 4-time Pro Bowl center, Travis Frederick, after missing all of last season. And he looks like throughout training camp in the preseason, that he is right. He's the old Travis Frederick of old, right?
Yeah, you know, Travis has been such a good player for us. And last year was really different for everybody, certainly different for him, you know, having that condition that he was dealing with. And he also had a couple surgeries. And, you know, it's well documented the role that he played in our team last year. Really showed his leadership, you know, with the offensive line, the offense, and throughout our team, just being part of everything as he was working through these things. And he's worked very hard physically to come back, had a great offseason, really good spring, training camp. He did a fantastic job, and you said it looks like his old self, and he's been one of the best centers in football over the last 4 or 5 years. We're lucky to have him.
You know, your offensive line has been a strength of this team, but now with a full offseason of having Amari Cooper working with Dak Prescott, what should that do for this offense, just having all the skilled players that you have now at your disposal?
Yeah, you know, Coop made such a big impact on our team last year, and, you know, it was really remarkable for me. I'd never really seen a player come in from the outside in the middle of the year and acclimate himself as quickly as he did. And he's a really smart guy. He's got excellent football instincts. And he and Dak just developed a feel for each other. And obviously our passing game and our offense, the production was significantly better in the second half of the season once he got here. So for them to have some time in the offseason, the early part of training camp before Coop got banged up, I think was really valuable. Good week of practice. He's excited. He's ready to go.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
Zeke's a guy that makes the offensive line look better. So even though we're blocking a system and it is what it is, when you have a runner of that caliber and that quality behind you, he can make up for some of those little tiny mistakes that you may be making. Or if a defender is playing exceptionally well, maybe he's stretching and holding his gap better than he can, you're not getting the reach that you need. You know, Zeke taking one extra step, knowing that he can take one extra step and then go back inside, and those type of little adjustments that he makes and makes so naturally, and the things that he studies and focuses on can make you look better as an offensive line. So again, I think we're just fortunate to have him back.
The Jason Garrett Show is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. the University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
I think I got a little bit of feel. The heat was a little rough today, but it's air conditioning in AT&T Stadium, so I think I'm just gonna just keep seeing how I feel the rest of the week.
Welcome back inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios here at the Star. Bill Jones along with David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com. Yes, back for another season. You made the cut.
Not only are you surprised, the producer, when I got the call the other day, she was shocked.
And when Jason Garrett turns on this show, he's going to be very surprised to see David Moore back for another season. All right, we've got a new feature, hashtag Jason Garrett Show on Twitter. You can ask a question of David Moore, and we've got a question that relates to one Zeke Elliott. How many reps can we expect Zeke to have on Sunday?
This is going to be interesting, I think, for a lot of people, especially the Giants, to see how this unfolds. Elliott said during the week that he would be able to handle whatever the coaching staff throws his way. But let's go back and look at what he's done early in the season when he's been here. Now, remember, his last practice with the team before this week was June 13th. Well, in the first 2 games of his first 3 seasons in the league, so that's a 6-game sample size, he averages 3.7 yards and 65.5 yards rushing. From week 3 on in his Cowboys career, he averages 4.8 yards rushing and 107.5 yards. So we've already seen that not just Elliott, but I think it takes this offensive line a little bit of time to get traction in the run game to be the effective, dominant run team that you see them over the course of the season. Now, how does that translate with Elliott not having been here for training camp and an offensive line that practiced together 1 day in training camp? This will be their first game together this season. So we'll see how it unfolds.
Have you thought about politics? The question again was, how many snaps will Zeke Elliott get? So how many snaps?
I was trying to answer it. That was my homage to Jason Garrett. I answered the question like Jason Garrett would have.
20 snaps?
I will go. Let's put the over. No, I'll put the over under at 14.
Oh, wow. 14 snaps. Wow. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. How about
touches that he actually gets? He'll be on the field.
Oh, touches.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant snaps.
No, snaps.
Oh, he'll be out on there for at least half the snaps.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Red zone. Red zone was a problem for this offense last year. How much will Jason Witten's return help in the red zone?
This should be a huge help. You're losing Cole Beasley, but you're also getting Randall Cobb in there. But Jason Witten in the red zone, and also just moving the chains on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. That was an issue for the Cowboys most of last season. All of this being said, a lot of focus should be put on Jason Witten's return, especially in the red zone and on a 3rd and short, 3rd and intermediate. But don't forget about Blake Jarwin. He was the NFC Player of the Week the last time the Cowboys faced the Giants. 3 touchdown passes. There's going to be a niche and a significant role for him in this team.
Who remembers that? Blake Jarwin remembers it.
Blake does. He has it at home.
Player of the Week. All right. Thank you, David Moore. And I wonder how many snaps one Tank Lawrence is going to get on Sunday. We feature Tank when we come back on the Jason Garrett Show in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones here inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios. Now we head to the Ford Center for our featured player of the week, one Tank Lawrence.
My main focus is studying ourselves, making sure we're fundamentally great on defense and setting edges and, hitting as a defense. So we really don't try to focus on the opponent, just focus on our craft and greatness. What they want from me is, domination. So I try to live up to that standard each and every day, and just understanding the game, knowing that it's a chess match. You give them something just to take it away from them. So you basically playing mind games with them, and it's for 4 quarters straight. And fatigue make a counter out of anybody. So it's all about being physically in shape and making sure you know your craft. every time I get an opportunity to rush the passer. Once you see that tackle's foot kick back, you're supposed to know that that's $1 million waiting right there in that pocket. So, I mean, if you greedy like me, I know it's a sin to be greedy, but you know, if God bless you with the ability, you know, to be greedy, why not be great at it? So, try to go and get that $1 million every time that quarterback steps back in that pocket. But it's all about, you know, like I said earlier, us focusing on our craft and, you know, maintaining that throughout the whole season. It's a tough season. Everybody's good, but, you know, once you're on your keys and once you're on your assignment and you love to hit, we destined for greatness. So we start Barkley on the way to Eli. Somebody gets the ball, they let it lay down. That's it.
DeMarcus "Tank" Lawrence, $105 million worth of sacks in his Cowboys career. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins us, and we take an up-close look at Saquon Barkley and these New York Football Giants. Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. And now joining me is Will McClay as we break down these New York Giants. And when you think Giants, you think Saquon Barkley. What a rookie year he had last year, and he is a challenge for a defense.
Yes, he's one of the best players in the league, and he's an explosive player. They use him in a bunch of different ways. So we'll take a look at things that he does and how you can stop him. Here, they run some mid-zone plays. So what they're doing is they're counting guys in the box at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 guys in the box. They're going to run a zone. They're going to get everybody going this way. He uses his vision, and then he makes a cutback. So we've got to look at it right here. They don't get penetration. They get the line to move sideways, cut in the back. Now, there's no edge to the defense. He's able to get outside, and then a big explosive play for, I think it's 68 yards.
Wow. Wow. Flashing that 4.37 speed. And Saquon Barkley is a threat out in space, too.
Yes, they want to give him the ball in space in a number of different ways. But what they'll do here is kind of the old school deal is they want to get it to him in space, but they want to give him blockers, all right? They're going to pull linemen, get him the ball in space. Sometimes it looks like a screen, sometimes it's a toss, but they're getting him on the edge of the defense with blockers. So you'll see it here, okay? You'll see the 2 guys pull. He's got blockers out in front of him, gets it out of his hands quickly. Now, how does he use the blockers? He uses the blockers, he sets them up, and he's got a good win there. Now, here's how you have to stop them when they're in space is they're going to do the same thing. They're going to have 2 pullers. They're going to pull 2 people to try and get here. They're going to try and take the edge. They want to get him the ball in space, but now what you have to do is rally around it, and you have to have an edge of the defense, and you got to have people around him to bring him down. There's not one person can bring him down one-on-one. So here they go. The same sort of deal. They got 2 pullers. JAYLON beats the puller, and then we have an edge of the defense that forces him out of bounds.
And when you look at defending Saquon Barkley, he had 91 catches out of the backfield last year.
Yes, and a big part of their offense in 2 minutes when they're trying to move the ball, again, it's getting him in space. So here they see a single high safety, which could mean man or cover 3. But now he's seeing the alignments, and so everybody's got a man here, okay, in man coverage. So they've got this athlete on either a defensive end or a linebacker, okay? And so what happens is you get it to him in space, one-on-one, and here we get a positive play. It gets it out of his hand really quick. See how much space he creates with his acceleration. Now, same sort of situation when you're in the passing game. They're down here in the red zone. Now, we have 2 high. So with zones, there's a lot of space. Okay, and so they're going to use it and get him the ball in space. What you have to do is know where he is, be prepared, and in zone coverage, you have to rally and tackle. So here it is. They're going to force us deep with the route. They're going to threaten the zones and expand it. They want to get it to him quick. We've got to close down space. And then the other thing is you see 7, 8 jerseys around him because one person can't bring him down.
A threat to your team defense is going to be a real challenge for Jaylon Smith and the Dallas defense.
Attention to detail. You know, we're a team that we pride ourselves on stopping the run and being physical and sprinting to the ball every single play. So, you know, we understand our identity. We just got to go out there and prove it each and every week. So that's the goal.
And the Coach Reed joins us here after Will McClay talking about Saquon Barkley. And really, you look at EZEKIEL Elliott had over 2,000 combined yards rushing and receiving last year. Same goes for Saquon Barkley. He means about the same to the Giants as what Zeke means to this Cowboys team.
Yeah, he's an incredible football player. And anybody who saw him in college recognized that. And the Giants, you know, were smart enough to draft him high And he's just a really impactful player. And you said it, he's a great runner. He can run the ball inside. He can run it outside. He can make tough yards. He can make big explosive runs. He's a home run hitter. And then they throw him the ball. They throw him the ball out of the backfield. They throw him screens. They line him up outside. They get the ball to him any way that they can. And it's easy to see why. He's just such a good football player. He's hard to tackle. He's quick, he's fast, he's explosive. He's just an outstanding player for them and a great challenge for us.
I want to ask you a couple of players in the front seven. Let's start with DeMarcus Lawrence, signed the lucrative contract in the offseason, coming off the shoulder surgery. We saw a little bit of glimpse of him in the preseason, but when you look at his impact, what it could be for this team going forward, we've seen it the last couple of years, and why would there be a drop-off? Yeah,
just excited to have him back. You know, he dealt with an injury last year, so had to work through an off-season surgery, but he's worked really hard to get himself back. He's physically ready to go, was very good at the end of training camp, you know, right towards the end of the preseason, and he's practiced well. And, you know, a lot of people talk about why, you know, these defensive linemen are able to make sacks. And obviously they're quick, they're explosive, they're great athletes, they have moves and all of that. But I've always argued that the best defensive linemen, the guys who impact the quarterback the most, have a relentless way about them. And if you're asking me about DeMarcus Lawrence, that's line one with him. He's got a relentless spirit. He's a very good run player. He sprints to the ball. He's always around the quarterback. He keeps playing. And he's just made a number of impactful plays for us throughout his career, and we're lucky to have him back.
And another guy who has some of those same qualities is JAYLON Smith. Of course, he also has a new long-term contract. And really what he did last year as emerging as a leader on this defense as much as anything, and not only in the plays that he made, was quite impactful.
Yeah, and again, his journey is well documented, where he's come from. He's a great college player, and then he had really devastating injury, and a lot of people never felt like he'd play again, and he worked so hard to come back. And, you know, I suspect it's always been really meaningful to him, but I know the journey he's been on, and I know it's really, really meaningful for him to go out every day and practice and to be able to play middle linebacker for us, and he's done a great job. Last year was essentially his rookie year, and he played very well. He got better as the year went on, and you said it, not only impactful plays, but also his leadership was impactful throughout our defense. So he's growing every day right before our eyes. He'll get better and better and better as we go.
All right, we still have time left for an unsung star this preseason when the Jason Garrett Show continues.
This is where I want to live after football. I want to retire here. And that makes things a whole lot easier. And just great for me and my family to be able to have this moving forward, and for me to also stay here with my teammates and you know, continue to build something that we've been building.
Final couple of minutes here of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, and this is where I save my unsung star. It's a committee of one who comes up with this each week, and I'm going with your right tackle, Lyle Collins, who has a new long-term contract. As he put it, he's a Cowboy for life, but you get so many Pro Bowlers on that offensive line. Lyle Collins, day in, day out, week in, week out, does the job, and I know he's not unsung in your eyes.
Yeah, he's not. We love him, and you said it. He does so much for our team, and you know, his physical nature, the demeanor that he plays with, is something that can be really contagious throughout our team. He kind of sets the physical tone for our team, and you know, we love to run the football, we love to control the line of scrimmage, and we have an outstanding offensive line, an outstanding runner, but he's a huge part of that. And I think he's really improved as a pass protector over the course of his career. He played on the left side in college. He's playing on the right side for us. So I think he's grown. I think he understands, you know, technically how to pass protect now than maybe he did when he first came in, working over on that right-hand side. But the one thing that's never changed about him is how he plays, the demeanor he plays with, the physicalness that he plays with. And again, we're lucky to have this guy.
And the fans can set a tone for 325 on Sunday, right?
They sure can.
All right.
It takes everybody.
Okay. For Jason Garrett, I'm Bill Jones. We appreciate you joining us here for the Jason Garrett Show, and we'll see you again next week.
The Jason Garrett Show was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
In my time here in Dallas, I've formed a really good relationship with the Salvation Army, and I wanted to pledge $100,000 to help them build their new facility